Hello everyone, today we are looking at simultaneous equations that are meeting at one point. So for example, you might have this is your x and y axis. So that's your y axis, and then this is your x. So if I've got two equations that are like that, they are meeting here. So you're just trying to find this point. That's what simultaneous equations mean. Okay, so now the example that we're going to work with, we're going to use two methods, but the example that we work with is going to be this one, plus 2y is equal to 36. And then you have 5x plus 4y is equal to 64, right? So the first method is where we just try to equalize these two equations, and always be in the habit of numbering your equations. So these two equations we're trying to equalize them. So what do? Our target is to look at this area here where we have this one and that one, because those would be easier for us to multiply and equalize. So we want to get numbers here or coefficients that are equal but opposite in terms of the signs. So now what do? I will multiply this equation by 4, and then I'll multiply this equation by 2. But that doesn't help us with the signs here. So what I do is I put a negative there. So then what are my new equations? This will be 12x plus, that will be 8y is equal to 4 times 36. We get 144. And then here we have 2 times 5x, that's 10x. But remember, we have a negative. Negatives, we don't leave them behind. Here we have 4y times 2. That's 8. Then we get our negative, we put it back there. And then here we have negative 2 times 64. So we get 128 minus. And now you see that these are equal and opposite, so we cancel them. And then here we just simplify. So here we are going to have 2x. And then here we'll have 144 minus 128. So we have 16 this side. Okay. So now our equation is 2x is equal to 16. We solve. How do we solve? We remove this coefficient in front of the x because we're solving for x. And then we do the same on the opposite side. So now we are left with x is equal to 8. Okay. Now we go on and look for our y. Okay, how do we find our y? We get any of these equations and then we substitute x is equal to 8. So we even write, we say sub 8 x is equal to 8 into equation of your choice. For here, you have to make sure that you choose the easiest. So here now 3x, we always write the equation down to make sure that we are working with the correct equation. Cross-check, make sure that it's still the same one that you're working with. Okay, so here we have 3x, our x is 8 plus 2y equal to 36. What do we do here? We multiply, we get a 24 plus 2y equal to 36. Now, there are two things you can do. To show everything, you can do 24 plus 2y is equal to 36 minus 24. Now remember, we can't just subtract here and forget to subtract the other side. Okay, so we have to do the same thing on both sides. So here we have 2y is equal to, when we subtract here, we get 12. And then we do the same thing on both sides. So this is equal to 6. Okay, and always get into the habit of trying to prove that what you've done is right. So you remember we used equation number 1 for solving. So we're going to use equation number 2 for solving. for proving. So 5x plus 4y equal to 64. So try to show proof that what we've done is correct. You can even do it on some other paper on the side, but at least make sure that you check, because you know these signs, these you can easily make a mistake somewhere. Here we get 40 plus 24, and then we get 64, like that. So here we have 64 is equal to 64. So we've shown our work there, and this is our x, that's our y, and they both fit into our equation there. Okay, now I'm going to show you second method. Okay, hope you got the answers here. So let me show you the second method. The second method is substitution method. So you try to make one the subject of the formula, and then replace into the second equation. So here we could so let's write down the equation again. This was our first equation, and then this is our second equation, right? 64, like that. So that's our equation. Okay, now what are we going to do here? What we're going to do here is we're going to try and do this. So I'll select one. Usually I like to make sure that the one I create as my, so this is what they call substitution method. Okay, so here I'll make this as my subject of this formula, then I'll replace it into the second. So what happens here is 2y is equal to 36, and then I'm trying to show all my work here. Okay, so I've subtracted on the left side. I'll do the same on the right side. Okay, so I can cancel here, cancel there. 2y is equal to 36 minus 3x. The thing I've seen with mathematics is don't try to be too clever. Just follow it step by step. Okay, best mathematicians do things simply and stupidly. So that's one thing I've seen. Don't try to be clever. I could just look at this equation, for example, right? And I'll say 2y is equal to 36 minus 3x, just by knowing that if this crosses, the sign in front will change. But you know, you just have to make sure that you're doing some of these things, showing all your work, showing everything that's happening. Okay, so that's this equation. Now this becomes our third equation. Remember we had 1, and then we've got 2 here. So this is our third equation. So now we also state, so we say sub 3 into, we choose. Now remember here, this came from equation number 1. So we can't replace it in 1. We have to go with 2, okay? Because it will give you 0. So here we have, and always we write the equation down again so that we know for sure we're working with the correct equation. And this I cannot emphasize this enough. So then we put this in brackets, minus 3x over 2 is equal to 64. Now here we can already simplify here and get a 2. So if you've noticed, what I like to do is when I change just one aspect of the equation, I rewrite the whole equation. And that's because I want to do singular steps per equation. So here I have 72 minus 6x is equal to 64. Okay, I'm not trying to be clever, I'm just trying to do the right thing. So here I'll make sure that I leave my like terms. I like to leave those with variables on one side. So this one goes the other side. We have 64 minus 72. So this is minus x is equal to minus 8. If I subtract these two, that gives us x is equal to 8. Okay, because this minus and that minus take care of themselves. Then we go to the second portion. Now we use equation number 3. So again, we replace or substitute x is equal to 8 into 3. So you see, if you number them, it's easy to explain what you're doing. So again, I carefully write down this equation, minus 3x over 2, right? So then I just do y is equal to 36 minus 3. Now I substitute my 8 in there and divided by 2. So y is equal to 36 minus 24. And then we have over 2. So y is equal to 12 over 2. So y is equal to 6. Okay. So x, y, like that. That's the point where they're meeting. And then you have 8, 6. So that's your solution. These are your solutions. And like we said, get into the habit of checking if what you've done is right. So I used equation 2. So I go to equation number 1 to see if my numbers are applicable here. So that's my 36 there. I do 3, 8 plus 2, 6. Then I get 36. Okay. So this is 24. We know that's 24. And we know this is 12. And then it's 36. So 36 equal to 36. Then I know what I did was right. All right. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.